By that time, I was going to an evangelical church, Bethel Bible Chapel in Newrisburg. One day, I was invited to a ladies' coffee hour. I was a bit late. I had to cut the lawn. I get in the hall. There was only one place with the man alone. Seeing him from the back, a still small voice told me, it would work with that man. We were looking at each other from the corner of our eyes. This little voice told me, you would do a good thing. Coming out of the banquet, Roger asked me about my social status. I told him I am a happy spinster. The next Sunday, going to church, I stopped to a thrift store in Ville-Marie to put a bag. I tried to start my car. Nothing happened. There was a garage nearby. The mechanic boosted the car. This car started. Now, should I go home or should I go to church? I decided to go to church. After the meeting, I tell Roger, I might need some help. Coming out of the church, Roger is already trying to boost my car with 3 other men. The car stopped. Roger tells me, I will follow you to Notre-Dame-du-Nord. I say, there is no need. I will go straight home. He tells me, we will go and have lunch together at the restaurant. Ding, ding! Never a man invited me to go to the restaurant before. What do you think I answered?
Yes, sure.
In Notre-Dame-du-Nord, we have lunch together discussing about our lives. We come out, the car wouldn't start. The bright Roger thought about borrowing the cable to boost the car. The car started. Roger tells me, I will follow you to Fabre. I said, it is not necessary. I will be okay. Fabre is 45 minutes from here. He answered, I will follow you. I said, okay. In Fabre, it was later in the afternoon. Roger had to bring back the cables for 6:30. It is 1 hour drive. It is a hot day. I invited him in for a refreshment. I gave him some poem that I wrote to read while I prepare a little lunch for him. Ding, ding! His mother was writing poems. She died at the hospital hugging him. He was 8 years old. A few days later, Roger calls me and he wants to come for a visit. I said, okay. He asked me to go out with him. As a spinster, I put my condition on the table. He called me after a few days saying, I know your conditions are from the Bible. I accepted them. Everything is going well. One day, I tell him, I have a painting of you. That was a painting that was done by one of my friends, and the process, the method to do that painting was to throw colors on a canvas, and then you look at it, and you're looking at the lines and draw draw the painting. And that's a photocopy of the painting.
Oh.
Roger was a made man for many years, and he wore that cap. And he had a little flattened nose, and he had some mustache, and his hair were that color when I met him. So, and his earlobes. And when he was sick, I was those sleeps. I had to talk to him, whisper to him in his ear, because he had some water in his head and it was amplifying the noise. So, oh yes, he saw the light. Jesus. Everything makes sense with the Lord. While we were going out, the still small voice was telling me, "You would make a good team." I see a Gideon ring in his finger, and I asked him, "Are you a Gideon?" He said, "Yes, but I am in a sabbatic year." I said, "You better get at it. I have been trying to become a Gideon for years." One day, Roger arrived with a bouquet of roses. It's his birthday. He tells me, "You would make me the loveliest gift if you become my wife." And with all those signs and the attraction I had for him, what do you think I answered?
Yes.
Yes. He tells me, "Look, there is a roses that is not like the others." An engagement ring. I said, "Look at that." So, we got married on June 10, 2000. I was 58 and he was 65. 7 years older than me. Roger and me were making a good team. The Bible changed our lives. It is a living word. We understood how important it is to give it to other people. We made some distribution. For example, one day we were at Tim Horton in Norby, and a young man was leaning on our car. So we wonder what was happening, you know. So we came out, and the young man, he said, "I know you are Gideons. I see that sign in you. I would like to have a New Testament." So we gave him a New Testament. Another day, we were at the restaurant in Ville-Marie. The waiter was a young man. Roger tells me, "Would you give him a New Testament while I pay the bill?" So I go to the young man and read John 3:16 with his name in it. He tells me, "I am at that point in my life. I needed that." And he gave me a hug in front of everybody. And I learned after, by people that knew him, that he was just coming out from a detox treatment. We were also going in nursing home. I was playing flute, and he was the commentator and telling a little story. He was always an encouragement for me when I was playing flute. That's why I wanted to play a last time for him. thank you for all the good musicians that are hiding my mistakes and the faithful Gideon. In the summer 2015, Roger fell on his back, and the backslash caused him 3 cerebral hemorrhage and 4 operations in the brain. The ministry of sickness. I was at peace because we were in the will of God. I was happy even in the trials. I loved him and I liked to be with him, you know. At last, he was confused and did not always acknowledge me, nor the house. The Lord gave me wisdom not to cause him more anxiety nor pain. Even in his confusion, he testified his faith. One day, a nurse told me she came in the room and he was praying for the staff. Another day, I came in the room and he was giving a New Testament to an orderly that supervised him all night because he was confused. One time I was walking in the hallway singing the love of God. A member of the staff told me, "I know that hymn." I said, "Then we shall sing it together." She was coming from Haiti and singing in Creole, and I was singing in French. Last summer, Gerald, Roger's son, my stepson, and me went to the restaurant with Roger. There was a surgeon I knew at the restaurant. I told him my husband had 4 operations in the brain. He said, "And he's still walking? That's a miracle." Lots of people were praying for Roger. Roger's falling asleep. Gerald tells me, "You should play flute for him." So I played flute for him at the foot of his bed. And he died the next day at noon. He was so peaceful in his bed. I knew he was happier there. And he had a beautiful smile. He leaves a big hole in my life. But I know he is happy, and one day I will see him. There in heaven, it's written in Revelation 21, verse 4, "No more pain, no more tears, no more death in paradise." So I thank you, all the children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren that traveled that much to come to the funeral, and the help of my family in the back. And the family, Roger's family, children, and all these stuff, Christina, they are precious to my heart. One thing I've learned from the Lord, that He never intended to have His creatures to suffer. Jesus cried at Lazarus' tomb, John 11, verse 35. He was crying on how the human misery, and He wants us to be happy. That's why He came and died on the cross for us, and He wants us with Him all the eternity, happy.
Thank you, Lilianne. You know, the next song is In the Garden. At this time, we're going to have Dad's urn placed into his spot on this side. They're going to be, the director here, Joanne, will be taking the urn and putting it on the other side. Yeah. Yeah. Now, the next